All right, guys, welcome to the relationships course. This is unlike any other relationship course you've ever had because it really gets to the root of all the issues people have in their relationships. And so I hope that you will go download the worksheet that goes along with this so that you can fill it out. Watch the video first and then fill out the worksheet. You can go back and watch this as many times as you need to. Okay, the first thing that we need to know is what is the problem in our relationships. We want to say that the other person is a problem. All of my relationships that have problems, it's because of what the other person is doing or not doing. And so most relationship courses will tell you how to deal with that, how to try to get them to change, how to talk to them so that they understand and they'll listen and they'll change. We're not doing any of that here. And here's why. Going to other people to change how you feel in a relationship is not the best way to get what you need, okay? I want to help you meet your own needs in a relationship so that it can be really fulfilling and fun and not so much pressure, all right? So the problem that we have in our relationships is that we rely on other people to make us feel the way that we want to feel. We need other people. We think we need other people. Like we need friends so that we feel like we're enough and we're confident. And so that we think that we're a good friend. We need people to tell us that we look good so that we can believe that we're beautiful and we're fashionable and like there's nothing wrong with us. We need people to listen to us so that we feel validated, so that we feel important, so we feel valued. All the things that we deeply, deeply need, we think they have to come from other people. And I just want to tell you the good news is that they don't have to come from other people. So the solution to this is creating confidence on your own, creating trust in yourself, creating a relationship with yourself that doesn't require other people to combat all the negative things that you're constantly telling yourself. This is why we work on our relationship with ourselves first, because I want you to think about what's going on in your head as you're going throughout the day. You're judging yourself. You're thinking, I didn't do that good enough. Why couldn't I get that done? Oh, what is wrong with me? Do I look this fat? Like, why do I have to blah, blah, blah? It's all this questioning of who you are and what you're doing and what you look like. It's just, we're in a constant judgment cycle. And it takes a wake-up call for us to be like, oh my gosh, I have been so mean to myself for all of these years. Now, it's okay. This is the way that we're raised by our parents. We're not raised to be confident, and confidence is not a survival instinct. In fact, judgment is a survival instinct. Being critical is a survival instinct. Your brain's job is to look for things that are going wrong, and you're the closest thing to it. So it's going to find all the things that are wrong with you. Its job is not to wake you up in the morning and be like, good morning, Nicole. You're so beautiful. You're so amazing. You're going to have an awesome day because you're the coolest person in the world. Your brain's job is not to tell you all the things that are going right. It doesn't mean that things are not going right. It doesn't mean that you're not amazing. It means that the focus of your brain is keeping you alive, which means it has to point out all the flaws and all the problems so that you can fix them, so that you can be accepted, so that the people who have food and shelter will give it to you and you will survive. That is really as basic as it gets in your brain. So the first thing that we have to do is realize we are attached to the opinions of others because our brain genuinely believes that they're important to our survival. If you think about, like, let's just go to like a tribal situation. If there's somebody in the tribe who's good at making baskets, somebody else who's good at hunting, somebody else who's good at like building shelters or creating things that are necessary for survival or getting those things, your brain is going to want to say to you, we need to make sure that that person likes us so that we survive. And that might be true in that situation. If you lived in a tribe, if it was hard to get food and the people who could get food, like gave food based on who they approved of and not just to the tribe in general. So your brain is really trying to do you a service here. It's trying to tell you, listen, we need to make sure everybody around us likes us so that we get the things that we need so that we don't die. So just understand that's why we feel this really intense need for other people to approve of us, is because your brain really thinks it's about survival. Now, there's your survival side that's keeping you alive, but there's also another side of you. And this other side of you knows that you're not going to die, knows that it's okay to offend some people, that some people are just not going to like you, and that's totally fine. It's not really a problem. Only problem that we run into is that sometimes we don't know, okay, which side of me is talking right now? Is it my survival side or is it my soul? And I just want to tell you, anytime that your brain tells you this person's opinion is so important, I'm going to tell you that that's your survival brain. Anytime that you're feeling, you'll notice the feeling in your body, stress or anxiety or fear, it's always your survival brain. Okay. Sometimes it's important. If you've watched the anxiety course, if you're out in the middle of the ocean and you're trying to avoid sharks, your anxiety brain is going to tell you what to do and where to go and give you some adrenaline so that you can get away from sharks. If you're up climbing a really high mountain and you're kind of on the edge, it's a little risky. Anxiety is going to tell you, don't step there. That's really dangerous. You're going to have this healthy level of anxiety to keep you alive. And so when it says something like, be careful, you want to listen to it. But if it's saying be careful and we're just around people, you just want to notice that and just talk back to your brain the same way we do in the anxiety course. And we just say to it, thank you so much for trying to warn me. And I just want to let you know, I've got it. I'm going to put my soul in charge of my relationships instead of my survival side. All right. So we've got our problem. We've got our solution. You need to become confident on your own. You need to learn how to meet your own emotional needs. You need to learn how to appreciate yourself and be grateful for yourself. You need to learn, what are my actual needs and which ones of those can I actually fulfill? Some of those needs might be, I need to be heard and understood. All right, how can I make sure that I'm heard and understood? Number one, I've got to stop telling myself that my thoughts aren't important or my feelings aren't important. Because if somebody else in our life, like, is the person that we go to when we want to feel heard and understood, and they're not doing it right, you're not going to get what you need. Also, if you're not hearing and understanding yourself, if you're not validating yourself, if you're like, oh, your feelings are so dumb, and somebody else is trying to validate you, it's going to be a little bit of a battle between your thoughts and their words. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're already giving yourself the validation that you need by the thoughts that you're saying to yourself over and over again. And so if you're feeling upset, you're feeling sad, we don't want to go to the place where you're saying, why are you sad today? Like, suck it up. You're fine. We would never say that to somebody that we love or a friend of ours. We'd probably never say it to somebody that we don't like. Like, we're kind of like nicer to our enemies than we are to our own selves. It matters what you think. It matters the words that you have in your head about who you are and what you do. It matters how you judge yourself, because you're the person that you are spending the most amount of time with. And so if you're always with this person inside of your head, and that person is really rude and really judgmental, can you imagine how you're feeling most of the time? You're probably feeling pretty down. You're probably feeling pretty anxious and really bad about yourself, right? Okay, so the solution here is not to get other people to say really nice things about us. The solution here is to make sure that the environment in our own minds is really healthy. Here's a great analogy for this. If your own mind is your bedroom, and the things that you say to yourself, the thoughts that you have, are like posters on the wall, because they essentially are. You're seeing them all the time. You're hearing them all the time. I want you to think of how you've decorated your current room. Like, if this is your room, is it decorated with posters that say, you suck, you're fat, why are you wearing that? Why did you do that? I can't believe you said that. Think about what it's like to live in a place that is really disturbing to you. You're disturbing yourself by continuing to think thoughts that are really harmful to you. Now, there's no judgment from me here. It's okay that you have been doing this. I want to help you stop doing this if you don't want to feel like this anymore. This is normal. It's natural. It's how I grew up too. I used to be really mean to myself. And now I have this relationship where I genuinely trust myself. I decided a long time ago, I am never going to be rude to myself. I'm never going to criticize myself. I'm never going to go to that deep, dark place where I think everything I do is wrong. I'm just never going there ever again. And you can decide right now, I'm never going there ever again. I'm never going to be so unkind to myself that I feel awful all the time. We're never going there. If anybody's going to have my back, it's going to be me. If nobody else is going to have my back, I'm going to have my back. Okay. So have your own back. Give yourself the love, the appreciation, the gratitude, the kindness, the validation, the rest, the food, the help that you need. Stop asking other people to fulfill needs that you can fulfill on your own. It is so difficult to try to get to somebody to understand, even if they've lived with you for a long time. So difficult to get them to try to understand what you need and to give it to you in the way that you need it. The best thing to do is just to meet your own needs. Now, do this from a place of knowing there's nothing wrong with me for needing these things, and there's nothing wrong with another person for not being able to meet these needs. They're just a human. They're not perfect. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. It doesn't mean that I'm not lovable or I'm not valuable. And just because so-and-so's husband is this amazing and he does these things doesn't mean that she is more lovable than I am. Like, I'm completely lovable. I'm just going to decide right now, like, I'm a human. I'm equal to everybody else, and I'm just as lovable as every other human. Just because I exist and I'm this unique, like, amazing creation. Okay. It's okay if you're not there yet. All the thoughts that I'm going to list in the worksheet, if you're not there yet, just practice believing them. Practice believing that it's possible that you could believe them. Just start to introduce these new thoughts to your mind. Okay. So the process for doing this is going to be partially in the worksheet. Number one, we've got to figure out, what are my needs? They might be something like, I need to feel confident. I need somebody to talk to. I need to feel validated. I need a place to express my feelings and to be heard and understood. I need to process my emotions. I need to not be with people all the time. I need to rest, like my mind and my heart and my brain and my body. I need to eat. I need to drink. I need to go to the bathroom. These are all needs that we have, physical and emotional, and there's so many more. You just get to ask yourself, what are the things that you need? We're going to do it from a totally neutral place, meaning that there's nothing wrong with anything that you need. If you genuinely need something, write it down and just decide, okay, we're going to figure out how to make sure that this need gets met, whether it's from me or another person. Okay. So number one, we're going to figure out your needs. Number two, we need to look through those needs and we need to ask, which ones of these can I meet myself? Now, this is how you meet your needs on a daily basis. Sometimes you'll notice you're feeling a little bit grumpy, and I like to just go right to the question to myself, like put my hand on my heart and ask myself, what do you need right now? Is there anything I can get you? And sometimes I just needed somebody to ask me that. So the way that this is going to work, it's only going to work if you actually believe yourself, if you actually trust that you are going to meet your needs. Meeting your needs, your own needs over and over and over again. Every time that you say, I'm hungry, and then you say, okay, I would love to feed you, like something that's actually going to help you, and you go do that, you're building this relationship of trust with yourself that the thing that you need is always going to be given to you. And then when somebody else doesn't meet your need, it doesn't feel like the world comes crashing down. You just get to say, oh, I know somebody who can meet my needs. It's me. I'm going to go ask myself. Now, remember, it means nothing about you if somebody else can't meet your need. It just means that they're not capable of that. You're perfectly lovable. You're perfectly valuable. And we're going to figure out how to make sure that this need gets met. So the next step that I absolutely love, after we have met our own needs, when we have built up our self-esteem, built up our confidence by the way that we're talking to ourselves, by the thoughts that are in our head, by deciding never to judge ourselves ever again. You notice how all of this is about your thoughts? It really is. It comes down to your thoughts. It's why I named my company Thought Boss Coaching. It's the most powerful thing that you have is your own thoughts, and your thoughts about yourself are going to change your entire life, and especially your relationships with other people. Because now, instead of feeling like you're never getting what you need and you feel so disconnected from everybody else, you're going to feel like, I have all my needs met, and now I can actually go into my relationships feeling fulfilled and fun before I ever get anything from anybody else. So this is a really fun place to be. When your needs are met, a really cool question to ask yourself is, what gifts do I have that could maybe help fulfill other people's needs? For instance, I'm really good at this brain stuff. I know my way through a brain. I know how to figure out what people's thoughts are. I love to help people with this. And because I'm not focused on myself anymore, all my needs are met, I'm able to ask, what does somebody else need that I can help them with? Do they need a hug? Do they need encouragement? Do they need validation? It's a really great place to be in a relationship where you're the one who's able to give and not the one who just constantly needs something. Your brain is going to tell you the opposite is true. Your brain is going to say, if I'm not getting anything from that relationship, it's not worth it to me. I'm not going to be in that relationship. But I want you to ask yourself, is there something I could possibly give to this relationship? And could that just feel really good? Like you're giving from this really abundant place and not giving for any other reason than just you like to give. Not giving because you want something from them or you want them to treat you like this. No, I'm good on my own. And I'm so glad that I also get to give this to you. That feels really good. Okay, so based on the gifts that you have to offer, who can you help? Are you good at listening? Are you good at loving, hugging, skiing, reading, just being a friend, going out to eat? All the surface things and all the deep things. You are here for a reason with the gifts that you have for a reason, and they probably have to do with serving other people. Okay, the result of all of this is you feel confident and happy regardless of what others are thinking or saying or doing. You stop asking, what is everybody else thinking about me? This is a crucial question. If you're constantly asking yourself, what is everybody thinking of me, or what are people going to think of me? Every time you notice yourself asking that, go back to, what do I think of me? Because whose opinion of you matters the most? Our brain thinks it's other people's, but that's only because it's based on survival. If it really was based on survival and you were only going to survive if people liked you, which is not true, then it would be true that other people's opinions of you are more important, at least to your survival, right? Your physical survival. But it's not true. You're going to survive whether other people like you or not. So their opinion doesn't actually really matter. Like, you're going to survive even if somebody doesn't like you. Okay. Probably even the person who provides for you, if that's not you, you're still going to survive even if they don't like you. Okay. You can go out and find food for yourself. You can provide for yourself. So anytime your brain says, we have to really be aware of what this other person is thinking, because if they think something negative of us, if they don't like us, that's really bad. And you just have to pull it back and be like, no, actually, it's none of my business what they think of me. I'm just going to let them think whatever they want to. That weight instantly gets lifted where we're like, they can think whatever they want to. Not my business, not my job. I know it's easier said than done, but I want you to just practice asking yourself, whose opinion do I want to trust more? Do I want to trust my opinion, or do I want to trust theirs? What if I could trust my own opinion more than I could trust theirs? And then you make sure your opinion of you is a good one. We trust our own opinions of ourselves because, number one, you're the closest person to you. You know the truth about you. You know, your soul knows the truth about you, not your critical brain. Okay. And number two, your opinion of you is the only thing that you can change. You actually get to choose what you think of yourself. You actually get to choose who you are and how awesome you are and what your gifts are and what your skills are. You just get to decide, this is who I am. This is what I'm good at. I'm beautiful. I'm awesome. I'm good at this, period. There's no police that's going to come around it and say, you're not allowed to think that about yourself because you're not actually this thing. Nope. You're just allowed to think whatever you want about yourself. And then when somebody else has a thought about you, you get to learn how to let that go. Just decide, all right, they're going to have thoughts about me. It doesn't actually mean anything about me. It means something about them probably, but they don't actually know me. So their thoughts don't actually mean anything about me. Okay. So you stop asking and wondering what they think. You feel fulfilled and happy in relationships, and your relationships are really healthy. One thing I recently started adding to my relationship with my husband is asking him for things that I know he can give me that he's really good at. They might not even be my own needs, but it feels good to receive, just like it feels good to give. So developing this trust in other people that you want to trust it can be a really fulfilling part of your relationships. It can be a fulfilling part of your life. So I just asked myself, all right, what does he have that I want to receive? Well, he has hugs. He loves to give hugs. And I decided I love to receive hugs. I just chose the thought, I love hugs, and he's great at hugs. He's also very calm and steady. His emotions are very chill. Mine are super dramatic. I love me and I love him. Because he's so calm, when I'm being dramatic, I can go to him and I can trust that he's going to come in with a really level head. And I decided I really like that about him. I'm going to call him like my steady emotional rock. And I'm going to rely on him to be that for me because I can already trust him to do that. That's already who he is. Listen to me. Stop asking people for things they don't have. If you really need compliments, number one, give them to yourself. You have to start there. Number two, ask for them from people, and don't not like ask, but like expect them from people who give compliments, who are good at it. Stop asking for compliments from somebody who that does not come naturally to them. It's okay if you like compliments, but don't complain when somebody's not giving you a compliment because it's not based on you. It's based on their ability or inability to give it. So if your husband's terrible at giving compliments, but you really need compliments, be like, you never have to give them to me again. It doesn't mean anything about me that you're not good at this. I can go ask somebody else. By the way, this is in your head. You might say it out loud, but mostly in your head. All right, so we want healthy relationships. Here's a recap. Number one, we have to make sure we are meeting our own emotional needs, which means you are in charge of your own self-esteem. You are in charge of what you think about yourself. You are in charge of being kind to yourself. You are in charge of not judging yourself. When you have worked on that, then we can go and ask other people for things that we need from them, things that we want to need from them in a really healthy way. All right. I want you to go do the worksheet. I want you to bring me your questions on Instagram because I want to make sure that these are getting resolved. And if this was really helpful to you and mind-blowing, I want you to send it to somebody else. They will fill out their email address and I will send them the link to this. And it's going to help relationships all over the place. All right. I will see you later.